What's going on? My name is Justin Valentine from The Roar. That's right, Motor City Sports Talk. If you haven't heard already, 93.5 and 99.1 FM. And listen, the Lions are on a bye week when we are recording this interview, and they are winless. Yes. And of course, they've had their struggles, but why not bring in some optimism, right? And even if we have to search a far ways away to get that optimism, I'm going all the way out to Honolulu, Hawaii. Okay. That's where we're going to get our optimism. Probably the most optimistic Lions fan you will find right now. And I've been pegged as that before. And I'm going to pass that off to my guy. His name is Jason Tom, all the way out again in Honolulu, Hawaii. And the reason why I'm bringing this guy on is because he put out a post that got a ton of reaction, both good and bad, over here in Detroit about why he continues to roar out for our Lions. Check it out on our website. We have it out. But you, Jason, first off, thank you so much for joining us, man. How are you today?
I'm doing great, man. It's an honor to be on The Roar. Shout out to all the Motor Cities fans and Detroit Lions. Honolulu Blue.
I love it, man. I love it. Now, listen, I mentioned your Facebook post that got a lot of traction. You mentioned you will roar out, and listen, that wasn't set up. It was his words before he even knew roar was a thing, right? I roar out for our Lions, win, lose, or draw. You talked about not having an NFL team over there, and why not Honolulu Blue and Silver. You referenced names like Matt Stafford being a forever Lion for you, but you've been watching for a while. Billy Sims, Barry Sanders, Herman Moore, Chris Spielman, Lomas Brown. You listed all of those names. So let's backtrack a little bit. How did this fandom start? Because again, no NFL team over there, so no football over there in Hawaii. So what drew your attention not only to the game of football, but specifically to the Detroit Lions?
Wow. That's a great question. It's a loaded question. Loaded answer. But I'll say, growing up in Honolulu, born and raised, we have a collegiate football, right? University of Hawaii, Rainbow Warriors football. But I would say what blew me is, my birthday is in November. So it's right before, it's always falls before Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
And you know how we're home from school, right?
Yes.
And so the TV would be on, and the Thanksgiving games, man, that's what caught my attention to the Lions. The moment I flipped the channels and I saw the Lions, I fell in love immediately to Bubbles. I'm not even kidding, right? I grew up in the 80s watching it, and I saw the big Bubbles right on the football field of Pontiac Stadium. And I just was like, what is this? What is this game? This is before I understood the sport of football or the rules of it, right? So that's how it kind of started. And during that time, Barry Sanders, amazing, right? Yeah. One of my all-time favorites too. Barry Sanders, Herman Moore. Actually, I'm playing catch-up, to be honest. I'm playing catch-up because I got to watch all those old games. I was too young to really understand the game. So that's how it all began. And yeah.
I love it, man. And you're right too, because there's a lot of things sports wise that I'll go back and watch that I watched as a 6 or 7 year old. But like you mentioned, you don't necessarily bring it all in the way you do once you're older. You don't appreciate what you're watching yet. So you go back, you're catching up on that. You're watching the Lions right now. And this post that you sent out, again, a ton of traction on it. What drove you to make that post? I mean,
wow.
You're 0-8. And you've been watching the Lions for a very long time. A great story behind it, but why now? What made you make this post?
Man, it's honestly, like, I would say, it's been off and on through the years. Just I've always been a fan of the Detroit Lions. I haven't been to Michigan yet. That's still on the top of my list to come out to the games. But for me, what's inspired me to post that, I would start I would say in recent years, I've been starting to build up my collection of Detroit Lions gear, right? And that's just being around other football fans, NFL fans to college football fans. So just being around that, I was like, hey, why not support my favorite team, So I started to rock out the Detroit Lions. I'll roam around Honolulu, and people would stop me. Hey, you're a Detroit Lions fan. And these are people vacationing from Michigan. So from that, all these random conversations, it was a conversation starter. And, us fans would just talk and interact. We'd talk about things like Calvin Johnson, Matthew Stafford, Barry Sanders, the everything Detroit Lions. And once I ran into more and more families that were vacationing here in Honolulu, that's when it inspired me. Hey, it's so much different from the online noise that we, see, and what I'm talking about, right? I think we have such a diverse fan base, but one of the most dedicated, most loyal fan base. And, we got those that drink the blue, the blue Kool-Aid or something?
Yep.
Yeah. So I get that a lot.
Listen, and people talk about drinking the Kool-Aid as if it's a bad thing, like keep drinking that Kool-Aid. They say it as if it's an insult. And for me, it's just like, yeah, I will continue to drink that Kool-Aid. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah. So I would say that's what inspired me, was just being around and interacting with the fans that were traveling all the way from Michigan to Honolulu. And we would just have these random spots of just conversation. Yeah. And it just inspired me on the inside out. And I said, I got to get this on Facebook. I got to share this. So it started off just sharing it with all the Detroit Lions fan groups that I'm in on Facebook. Then all of a sudden, somebody said, hey, is there a way you can make this shareable? So I said, hey, I can post this on my page. Mm-hmm. And that's when it took a life of, how I say it? What's that saying? It took a life on its own. Yeah. And that's how it just roared on, You
got to get that word in as many times as possible in this interview. I love it.
Yes,
I want to put you on the spot for a few questions here. Let's start off for you. If you had to choose one, your favorite Lions player of all time.
Whoa. Gosh.
Putting you down for one.
All time. If I had to pick one. Man, you know what? To say that inspired by, can I choose two?
Man, go ahead.
Actually, I have many, but I would say for like growing up I would say Barry Sanders. No doubt. Just the inspiration, how he was like people say he was like a video game, right? Barry Sanders, but I would say like as far as actively playing, that's no longer on our team, but I would say Matthew Stafford. Okay. But as far as I'll pick one more. Current player. Gosh, there's so many those young players right now that I really like. A lot of the rookies, I would say. I like what, I just like, they're very young right now, but I like DeAndre Swift. I like his versatility, I would say. Yeah.
I like it. How about your favorite Detroit Lions memory?
Ooh, favorite Detroit, man. I would say there's so many, but I'm trying to think of, how can I just pick one? Gosh, you're putting me on the spot. I love it.
I told you.
I would say just watching. Oh, you know what? I would say it, more recently, because once I tuned in on a Sunday, I watched the game. It was Detroit Lions versus the Kansas City Chiefs in the 2019 season at Ford Field.
Yep.
That really showed me how competitive, and even though we were struggling through those seasons, during that regime, it just showed me how much heart and how much talent and character our Detroit Lions have. We may be the underdog, but it just showed me, wow, we went toe to toe. We literally went toe to toe against the Super Bowl champions of that season.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I'm with you on that. Now,
I would say that was the highlight. Yeah,
I appreciate all the optimism here, but we know our Lions have broken our hearts a lot. Biggest heartbreak you can remember being a Lions fan?
Okay, I'll be honest. When I found out Jim Caldwell was fired, because that's what caught my attention again about the Lions, was when they were winning. I was like, wait a minute, what?
And
it's been a long time.
People still reference that, man. And a lot of people would probably say Stafford. Honestly, I was upset Stafford left, but I was also happy for Stafford moving on to a Rams team. And look at Right now, they are cruising.
Oh, yes, that's another heartbreak too. Yeah.
Yes, but Stafford with the Rams, I'm happy for him. He's got a good team. They just added Von Miller. They're tied for first in the NFC West. What are your
Yeah.
expectations for Matt Stafford and the LA Rams out there? Are they making it to the Super Bowl?
I see Matthew Stafford with the Rams. I've been watching their games just because I'm a huge fan of Matthew Stafford through the years of Detroit Lions. I really believe they're gonna go far. I anticipate they possibly are Super Bowl bound. It's very potential. Just the way they have a complete. I would say the coaching is really. I mean, Sean McVay is another level of coaching. I'm just like, and it's kind of cool to watch from outside looking in because I'm not a Rams fan.
Yeah.
Particular. It's the first time I'm watching another team, but I'm forever a Detroit Lions fan. I love what just not to go off on a tangent, but I love what the Detroit Lions are in the process of doing right now. It's very exciting.
Well, and let's talk about our Lions then. And the current Lions, a lot of people, despite the winless record, fans of Coach Dan Campbell. When, in your mind, how far away are we from a playoff appearance?
Wow. I like the effort and the focus and the vision that Brad Holmes has spoken, the general manager, Dan Campbell. I like the way they believe in these young players. They're giving Detroit Lions probably has the youngest roster in the league, I think, right? One of the youngest.
Oh, yeah.
I would say just giving those players that people overlooked opportunities to play in the NFL. That to me speaks volumes about our front office to our general manager, to our head coach and our coaches. Deuce Staley, I gotta say, man, really impressed by the run game. Like I'm seeing things like, whoa, once they develop that depth, right? The talent depth. I think as soon as they develop that through like however long it might take, maybe a season or two, I think we can be consistent contenders. Just looking how competitive we've been playing. Yes, we got blown out in a couple of games, the Bengals and Eagles, right? We got blown out, but we kept it close against some tough teams.
Yeah. Against Stafford and the Rams.
Yes. Even Ravens. That was a good one, right? That was a good one. And I would say even the way we held a lead in the first half of the Packers?
Yep.
That was really impressive. Yeah.
I'm with you.
So yeah.
Now listen, let's dial back our expectations here. Let's just get win number 1 because of course everyone's worried about us breaking our own 0-16 record because we have 13 games this season. So when are the Lions getting their first win? You and I were talking before we jumped on this interview. They have some winnable games. Broncos aren't 100% reliable. Bears, the Falcons, the Seahawks are without Russ.
Right.
Are the Lions going 0-17? If not, when are they getting their first win?
As the season plays out, right, injuries will play a factor into each of the NFL teams. So it could work in our favor. It could work against us. So I think it's how we manage it. And I think our coaches, I love the way that they hold back the players, especially Deuce Staley. I love how he holds back the running back. So I feel like they're purposely doing that. And they might surprise us towards the end of the season. Maybe they'll bring those young and hungry Lions who are, they got youth on their side. So I believe there's a potential that we're going to catch our second win. I'm just praying and hoping that they don't go 0-17. I'm very hopeful. And like you said, Broncos, that's a possibility, but they're usually a pretty tough team. I think we can get back to Bears. I believe we can avenge that. Seahawks' possibility. Packers are always tough, right? I would say, but I think what's that? Falcons. Falcons looks hopefully we eat those birds.
Yeah, the Falcons are the day after Christmas too. That's our Christmas present right there is win number 1.
Right.
Again, I'm talking to Jason Tom all the way from Honolulu, Hawaii, the most optimistic Detroit Lions fan. You love to see the Honolulu Blue all the way in Hawaii.